All right, so here we go. Another project here in North Seattle in the Greenwood neighborhood. Wonderful couple, been in the house for about 40 years. Sunroom appears to be about 20 years old, and it appears that it's been leaking since day one. This is not a maintenance issue, why I was called. It's a systemic build issue. It was built incorrectly, and I'll explain why and what it is that we're doing. Essentially, on the next picture, you're going to see on the inside of this stem wall here is a gaping hole in the floor, and that was caused by a leak. This is the problem. What you're looking at here is a hole in the floor. Tells me automatically that there was a leak in the top ledger flashing, and that somehow got behind. So it's kind of like an iceberg, right? You see 10% and then 90% is down below it. What you're looking at here is 20 years of a single leak. This is about 11 o'clock in the morning. The base wall, which is rotted. My main focus at this point is taking the room down. At this point, you can see we have already taken out the glass down safely. You know, this is a tight environment. Guy next door, neighbor next door has got a Mercedes SLK in the driveway, and a Labrador on this side that has a tendency to walk around in the driveways. So you're always careful. Those beams, each one of those beams is about 150 pounds. So now the main thing is we're trying to just extract and get it down to a blank slate. And as you can see, there was a total of 25 pieces of glass here, and they're heavy. So no, those are not, those will be recycled. In a case like this, it breaks my heart. It's a very nice sunroom. But the problem is, fundamentally, the room has been corrupted because the base wall is completely rotted out. That's actually come in now to the fascia down below and the entire floor system, which is now all going to have to be sistered, cut back, all new plywood. You're either going to spend 5 times as much time supporting that room, extracting all of that, and if you're lucky, you got the room to put everything back together and drop that room down. That might work on a larger room where you can isolate beams and jack things up, but this is such a tight environment. It's really better to just take the room down, recycle the aluminum, and move on. I think this job will take me 9 days. So this is it. This is the end of the day, and you know, a lot of people leave garbage on site. For me, it's such a tight environment. It's you know, downtown Seattle essentially. So I'm just loading these right onto the top of my van and take them back to my shop, and then put them in a trailer where we will take them to a recycler. But cleanliness, that's basically it. You know, tomorrow morning I don't want to start the job having to deal with these things or any of the garbage that we created today. So we take it off site, start fresh in the morning. It's sound. So hopefully by tomorrow I'll have the floor all wrapped up, put back all together, that new stem wall built, and I'd like to be starting to setting beams for the new sunroom glass. Don't hold me to that. At a minimum, I will have the front wall built. Here we are, day number 2. About the leak in the front base wall, the one that created the hole in the floor. But as we took off the roof, we noticed another leak. We removed the siding, took back the gutter, cut up some of the fascia, and lo and behold, there is definitely another leak here. So when you identify a leak like this, you just gotta follow the watermarks. Single leak, the kicker is that there's 22 of these posts on this deck. Better to think that probably 19 of the other 22 are probably doing the exact same thing. After this membrane decking had been put on, likely another contractor back, and it drove lag bolts right through the membrane, creating a hole. Sealed the side of the bracket with silicone. They did not seal the top of the head of those lag bolts. So in our weather environment, water is going to get through the tops of those lag bolts. And once it does, it has nowhere else to go except follow the path of the lag bolt, which is inside the room. A quick picture of what it looks like after we removed all that ply, replaced it, and then we just continued on setting our beams and setting our ledgers. You know, I said one time that this job was going to take me 9 days. That was before I saw this leak. I'm not making excuses for myself, but in a way that I feel comfortable with, is likely going to take me another 2 to 2.5 days. I don't have x-ray vision. It would have been impossible for me to see this. Back to these people and say, well, this is you know, a $10,000 change order. That's not right. The reality is they hired me to fix a problem. The scope of their problem grew slightly, but you know, I'm going to work with them. The biggest thing is it's going to cost me another couple days. Hey guys, Beau back here on the sunroom job in North Seattle. It's been 4 days since I've been back here because a part of this job is ordering custom tempered glass for the top of the sunroof. 3 large pieces, 40 inches wide by 8.5 feet long. Those were delivered yesterday, all successfully, as well as 3 non-operable windows, one of those being a trapezoid. Perfect fit, everything went in beautifully. Now comes the last phase of the job, is the custom flashing details that go over the window capping system that we have already installed. In the Northwest, there's no way you could ever leave wood exposed, especially out. That's what I'm talking about. Take a look at that. That basically goes over our entire framing situation up there in one continuous pass, bringing us all the way back to the glass. Think you can pick that up at your local home improvement store? No, you can't. So this is the second time now that I'm using the flashing brake. I used it essentially to set the windows and create all my counter flashings, but now this is on a whole another level. This is on the top. Nothing ever goes to plan. So with a brake, what you're able to do is on the fly make adjustments. Could have been because the house is out 1/4 inch, could have been we're out 1/4 inch. Fortunately, we caught that. That up there is 3 1/4. This here is 3 inches. So you just make that on the fly. Everything's on track. Had about 1.5 inches of rain yesterday, and fortunately we had all the glass in. We had all the flashing done, and we wrapped up the top last Friday afternoon. So no calls are a good thing, clearly. The thing is we're able to start this project and finish this project within about a 2-week period because we have the ability to order custom glass. We have to order it anyway for the top, for the roof glass, and that opens up the opportunity to do larger windows like you see up here in the middle out of custom glass. There are 3 windows being standard units that you can pick up from any home improvement store, and that's what the operable windows are. But to get those larger units like that, you would have to order that from a window supplier, and that can take anywhere from 4 to 5 weeks to get here. So the advantage is that this entire process, completely custom, can be started and finished within a 2-week period. Require quite a bit of work to bring them up to speed with all of the vinyl units next to them. Now there's probably quite a few of you out there that are skilled enough just to use a caulking gun and no tape, no fingers. For you, I tip my hat to you. I'm not one of those people. I like to have an insurance plan in place, and not only that, I like that clean factory line that has been pushed one direction and then another way. So I've already done that. And again, you know, 10 different contractors, probably 10 different ways of doing this. This is just my way that I found that has worked over the years. So with that said, now I'm going to pull this tape off, the blue tape, one more time, about 1/8 of an inch in from that, and that's the paint line. It's more work, but it allows us to wrap this entire thing up in 2 weeks. We're on day 7. I said this would take me 9. I think it's probably going to take me 10, maybe 11 with all the other things that we found here, but we'll keep you up to date. It's wise to have people work with you and for you that are good at what they do. You know, there's probably 4 or 5 different trades here within this sunroom, all of which goes to say this entire thing is going to be done in a matter of 9 to 10 days. Sometimes jobs like this, it's easier just to do it yourself. And the example of that is I got a phone call this morning. I'm supposed to have a painter in here, and he said, well, I can't be there till about 3. Well, I was here at 8. So I can paint just as well as anybody, and the reality is now all the painting is done. That's just one contractor in a mix of 7 or 8 that could have been on this job, or one, me. And so sometimes it's easier just to do it yourself. Today we're going to finish the day by pulling the backup out. It's a tool that I only wear probably 5-10% of the overall time. And that's it. Got the floor done thanks to the backup. And so yeah, we'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning. All we have left is to finish some base trims, which have already been pre-painted. I'm seeing some gaps underneath some of this trim that I don't like, so we're going to need to Bondo those out. Finishing touches, and yeah, day 9 tomorrow puts us right on track for what I said we would finish, and we'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Thanks.